So how much money do you really need for infinite banking? Now, we talk about passive income on this channel quite a bit, and yes, you do need a significant amount of cash to invest so that your money makes you money. But what about infinite banking? Does it apply there too? Well, let's talk about this because guess what? The good news is it does not require a lot of money, but it does require some. So let's talk about what those details are and really how much you need to make this work for you so you can actually create more freedom in your life right now. All right, so let's just talk about what do you really need for an infinite banking policy. If you're broke, this doesn't work, right? But if you're rich, it does work. Now, I generally recommend you need at least $5,000 or $10,000 a year minimum to put in. Now, when I say $5,000 or $10,000 a year, really that's a maximum amount of contribution per year, but often it's less than that that's actually required. So for example, say you're in your mid-30s and you want to put in $10,000 a year, the minimum might be somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a year that you have to actually put in. So yes, you do actually need to have some money to put away. You do need to have money that you can put away to savings. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if there's too much month at the end of your money and you feel like you just don't even have two nickels rubbed together or what other clever phrase you want to use, right? Whatever it is, if you feel like you're kind of paycheck to paycheck or broke, this is not for you. So what I would recommend instead is get what's called a convertible term insurance policy. Now, term insurance is just death insurance. There's no cash account that builds and grows inside of this like you get with infinite banking, with a whole life policy where you have this tax-free, high interest savings account. You don't get that with term insurance. It's just death insurance. It's like your car insurance. You only get to use it when you have to use it. And with life insurance, unfortunately, you don't get any of the money. Somebody else does, right? And so it's just death insurance. It only covers your death and that's it. But the great news is when you get term insurance is less expensive because you can get a 10-year term, where it covers you for 10 years. It could be 15, 20, or even 30 years. The longer the term, the more expensive it is. And so you're thinking, hey, this is temporary. I don't have cash now, but I really do believe I'll have cash later where I can actually save at least minimum $5,000 or $10,000 a year. Great. If that's the case, what you can actually do is get like a 10-year term policy, which is the cheapest term you can get. And if you're in great health and the younger you are, the cheaper it is. So it's not like you might be paying a few hundred a month or a few thousand a year or so for the policy. You might be paying a few hundred per year and that's it, like maybe 10, 20, 30 bucks a month or so that you might be paying. Much more affordable, much easier to have. And the key is this, when I said convertible, you want a convertible policy that converts to a good whole life plan down the road. So this requires, of course, as I say, a little bit of planning because you want to make sure you're with a good company. For example, many people will look up term quotes online and things like that. And when you find these term quotes online, yeah, they're cheap, but they won't convert to anything decent. And so it'll actually rip you off down the road. You don't want that. And there are still really good plans that are very affordable that are with good, solid mutual type of companies. Mutual companies are companies that are kind of like credit unions. They pay a little bit better than the banks do. Well, that's the same thing with mutual life insurance companies too, is that you want to be with a good mutual company that can convert to a whole life down the road that you actually want. Now, convertible, the great thing is this, even if something happens to your health, you're okay. So I'll give you an example. I had one client where he and his wife were looking at getting policies. He decided to get the whole life insurance on himself, and then he got a convertible term policy on his wife because he knew that they both wanted some coverage, but we did a policy on him first because that's what they could afford at the time. Well, 1 year later, he comes back to me and says, Chris, cash is even more free now. I can see how awesome these policies you set up are because they do actually get me the max ROI possible in this situation. I love it. Can I do it again for my wife? I said, yeah, let's do it. And I forgot all about the term insurance that she had, and I went to do a brand new whole life insurance policy. Well, something happened in that course of that last year where she was now uninsurable. The insurance company came back, said, hey, there are some health things that showed up from some doctor's visits that she had that we will not cover her. We will not give her a new policy. Now, when I had looked that up, I actually went online, realized and forgot that she actually had her convertible term insurance policy that was at the highest health rating she could possibly get. So that same day that she got denied, I went to the insurance company. I said, hey, I want to convert this term insurance policy to whole life. And guess what? They said yes. Even though they had just denied her, they have to say yes. Even though she would be a high risk, they would have to give her the highest health rating possible because we locked in her health. You get approved that one time, and the great thing is you can now convert it at any time over that period of time. And hey, they have to honor it. They have to accept that health rating. So you don't have to requalify your health again. That's essential. I had another client, the same kind of thing happened, but he had a brain tumor, an inoperable brain tumor. Fortunately, he was actually able to recover in about 2 years. It was gone. It was in remission. However, because of that, no insurance company would touch him. But the good news is this, is that in addition to the whole life policy that he bought for himself, we also got a convertible term insurance policy that we were able to convert and use. And again, that one was at the highest health rating that he had before he had the tumor. And so now he actually has insurance that they can never take away for the rest of his life. That's the power of this. And so having a convertible term policy is great if you're paycheck to paycheck or just in a position where you're not able to afford doing a bigger policy. So as I mentioned, you can do less money, but I really do recommend people put in at least $5,000 a year. And if you're older, maybe over the age of 50, maybe at least $10,000 a year. The reason being is because the more insurance you get, usually the cheaper the insurance get for that amount of money you're putting away. Yes, we could do less, but it may or may not make sense for you. So that's where I recommend at least $5,000 or $10,000 a year max contribution allowed. Now let's talk about that max contribution because I do a little bit differently. That's how we do it on our team, is that we don't figure out what death benefit you want. Instead, we figure out what's the minimum death benefit needed for the contribution that you want to put into this. So I get people all the time, they say, well, Chris, how much insurance should I get? I'm like, well, depends. Let's answer this question first. How much do you want to be able to put away each year? What do you want your max contribution to be able to be? Some of the people that say, well, I've been maxing out my 401k, let's do $20,000 a year. Great, we'll do $20,000 a year. We figure out the minimum death benefit needed to allow $20,000 a year to go in and stay tax-free. Because remember, the money you put in was after-tax dollars. It grows tax-free, comes out tax-free. So we want to try to keep those tax benefits in place. Not to mention, if you do that, it also protects your money from lawsuits and creditors. In most states, you're 100% protected. You could have literally millions of dollars in here and still no one can get this money. And so we just figure that out. What's the minimum death benefit needed to allow that $20,000 a year to go in? Someone wants put $100,000 a year in. Great, you could do that. By the way, here's what's cool. There's no limit to the amount of contributions you can do. The general limit is just this. It's 25% of your stated gross annual income. Meaning that if you say, hey, I make $200,000 a year, you're allowed to put in $50,000 a year. You make $500,000 a year, you can put in $100,000 a year. You make $50,000 a year, they'll let you put in about $12,000 a year. And that's how it works. So you actually can put away a lot more money than you even put into a Roth IRA or your own 401k plan, allowing you to grow your money much faster and safer than even gambling it in the stock market. Now, if you're in the position you're saying, okay, Chris, that sounds great, wonderful. I love put away 100 grand a year, but I would even struggle putting away 5,000 a year. I'd recommend this. If you go to moneyripples.com, we have a cash flow secrets course there that actually helps you find and free up cash, because that's the thing I had to do. I was actually over $1 million in debt, in the hole $15,000 a month. So I wasn't even paycheck to paycheck. There's paycheck to paycheck, and then there's me short $15,000 a month at one point during the Great Recession. I was able to dig out from that and even become financially free by 2016, but it required me to get creative and get resourceful. Those are what the cash flow secrets teach. A great place for you to go if you want to be able to figure out how do I have more cash to free up so then I have more to put away and be able to help me create wealth much faster than I'm doing today. Now, if you're not just paycheck to paycheck, but you want to know how to do this better, also go to Money Ripples, but instead click on the Infinite Banking tab and you can schedule a call with somebody today to run those numbers for you.